Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday. 9 o'clock on a Sunday means it's time for Lisa's Changing Perceptions with Lisa Eflin. And today we have a show with a remarkably long title. But before we get into all of that, Lisa, tell us all about the wonderful specials, the way people can contact you, and what you've got going on for the holiday season this year.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm Lisa, obviously, with Lisa's Changing Perceptions. You can reach me at lisaschangingperceptions.com, Lisa's Changing Perceptions at Gmail. You can call or text at 262-573-7055. You can reach me on Facebook under Lisa's Changing Perceptions, or of course, you can always go to 216thenet.com and reach me through there. So plenty of ways to reach out and get a hold of me. Today's topic is, like Pete said, very long. It's the realist, the dreamer, and the fine line between happiness and self-sabotage. It's usually I kind of come up with this show between Pete and I's conversations, or sometimes during the week enough happens that I in conversations with people that kind of triggers me as what the energy is of the moment. So that's how I came up with that today. Before we start, I am going to offer something here on the air, which I usually don't do. I am the world's worst salesman. I admit that wholeheartedly. But in the last 2 weeks, especially, I mean, I've heard it before, but in the last 2 weeks, I've heard it so many times that I decided I would do something a little bit different today. And I'm even going to offer, because I'm so grateful for how many are listening. The numbers are going up and up and up and every week. And I am incredibly grateful for that. So for all of you that share the show, share it to your group, share it to your pages on Facebook and what have you. I truly gratitude. So I'm going to offer a special today for the show that is only valid for today's show. Part of my reason for doing that is to thank the people that come on live, because it gives me excitement and and it boosts my ego. So I'm gonna do that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
But I hear all the time when I have conversations with people, oh my gosh, so-and-so, they would so benefit from what you do. Oh my gosh, so-and-so was talking about that they want this or that, or so-and-so was looking for somebody like you. I hear it over and over and over again. So for today, well, I always have these, just for the record. I do offer gift certificates, and I brought one to show people. They're actually quite pretty, at least in my opinion. They're actually quite pretty. So I'm going to hold it up to show you. You do get a physical gift certificate, and they come in this beautiful envelope so that it is a gift. Thank you, Vanna. Thank you so much, Vanna.
Well, these are fancy.
Yes, they are. They're fancy and they're beautiful.
My sister actually loves butterflies.
Yes. Well, you know, obviously I have the butterflies for a reason, because I believe in the rebirth of who we are. And it's part of what I do. So anyway, gift certificates are available all the time. The special that I'm going to do for the show today is for those of you who have multiple people in your life that you're looking for that unique holiday gift that will actually maybe last a lifetime. If you purchase 3, I'm going to give you a 4th one free. So that way you can share them amongst others, but you can also save some money in doing so. So if you purchase 3 gift certificates today, you will get a 4th gift certificate free. If you purchase 2 gift certificates today, you will get a 3rd one at half price. So that is for today only.
Buy 3, get 4.
Buy 3 gift certificates, get a 4th one free.
Okay.
Or buy 2 gift certificates and get a 3rd one at half price. Basically, and you don't have to determine what the person comes in for. Basically, you're purchasing an hour session. An hour to an hour and a half is truly average, especially if it's somebody new. You're just basically purchasing them an hour to an hour and a half with me, depending on what it is they choose to do. And I work with them privately and confidentially still. So just because you bought the gift certificate does not mean you get to know their stuff. So it's still just a private session. But I hear, like I said, I hear so often people say, so-and-so would so benefit from what you do, or, oh my gosh, somebody was looking for somebody like you, or whatever the term is, that's saying that they know somebody else. So if you'd like to offer a unique Christmas gift this year, I'm going to offer it to you. And for those who are listening today, to the show today, and call today. You will get the special pricing as well. And that is my gratitude for those that do come in live religiously each week. I am very, very, very grateful. So did that make sense, Pete? Does that
Yeah.
clear up? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So there it is. And I'm going to offer it again mid-show, give or take. Pete will remind me because I'll forget. For those that come in a little bit late, because I don't want anybody to miss out on it. And before we get started today, Pete, don't we have a lovely sponsor to...
We do, as a matter of fact,
that we're grateful
Bremer
for?
Team, Keller Williams, North Shore West. They bring families home for all your real estate need. Contact Dawn Bremer. You can reach them at bremerteam.com. That's BREMERTEAM.com. Thank you. And now we're on the air. Still.
Okay. No, I know
No,
that. I'm
we
looking that we already have comments.
Oh, yes.
I was just
well,
looking.
I put in a lot of things about your gift
Oh, you're the
card
best.
thing. So that's
You're
why
the
we
best.
have a load of comments right now. So, yeah.
So today's topic is the realist, the dreamer, and the fine line between happiness and self-sabotage. And I'm a people watcher. I like to just sit quietly and observe people. I like to hear people's story. I love to hear what makes people who they are. I like to hear everything about people. I really genuinely do. And I hear so often people begin to talk about the things they wish or the things that they used to believe. And then I hear this so commonly, but I'm a realist. And I've been told many times, and I am a Pisces, and for those that know astrology, I have been told by people who know astrology that I'm about as Pisces gets. So I do tend to be the dreamer. I tend to be the daydreamer. I tend to look at things as possibilities, step outside the box. I've learned to embrace my strangeness, my quirkiness, and I'm okay with it now. There was a time when I had people in my life that told me, oh, that's unrealistic. Oh, you're grown up now. Oh, you should know better. Oh, I'm a realist. Oh, this, oh, that. And I'm learning as I'm watching what's going on in the world and I'm talking to more people. I have never been more grateful for the dreamer in me. I don't see it the way other people see it, or not everybody, obviously, but some. If you don't have anything to dream about, you don't have anything to work towards. And if you don't allow yourself to expand your mind and your dreaming, you can't discover what fulfills you. Every person who ever did anything that made a huge difference in their own life or their own world had to think of it, had to allow themselves to step outside the box, had to allow themselves to do something. And I don't even mean that you have to dream and save the world. Save yourself. Save yourself. If you lock yourself in the reality of only what's right in front of you, especially if you've had a life that's difficult or traumatizing, or maybe you carry more regrets than some, if you lock yourself only into that world, you're going to remain in that world. Mm-hmm. So as I say, dreamers, I daydream a lot. I envision a lot. I get visions. I get shown, and I trust and I believe. And oftentimes I used to share them. I actually don't share them as much as I used to, because what I found is when I would have a dream or a vision or an importance and I would share it, is that if it didn't come out exactly how I had hoped it would, or exactly how I thought it would, or if it didn't happen at all, then you heard comments from the realists about how ridiculous it was to dream, how see how that never happens, see that's not realistic. And first off, I believe that when we open up our minds to those dreams, those possibilities, we discover who we are, we discover what we care about, we discover what's important to us. And we're allowing our mind to accept something new. We're allowing our unconscious mind to see the visions of better, so therefore accept better. If you choose to say, My life will never be any different. Bad things always happen to me. This is just the cards I was dealt. I will make you a guaranteed promise on the show. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. And we can't pull ourselves out of that without the dreams, without being the dreamer, without seeing something bigger and better. Does that mean that we can stay in the clouds and not really deal with our day-to-day life? Absolutely not. We have to deal with what gets placed in front of us. But the way we look at what gets placed in front of us can be different if we will allow our minds to know that something different is possible. And I feel like our society and our world right now is really struggling with believing something better is possible. It's the gloom and the doom and the battles and the wars and the anger. And rightfully so with some of the stuff going on right now. I mean, it's a confusing, we'll use that word, confusing time.
Yeah.
But if you can't ever see it being better, and if you can't step out of that world enough to see where you can be personally fulfilled, you can improve your life, you can improve the way things are, then you are absolutely right. It will never be any better. And the reason I said between happiness and self-sabotage is how the unconscious mind works. And I do a lot of visualization. That's the other thing is in my office, I do a lot of visualize and imagine. And some realists have said to me, well, you're just faking it for them. I don't see it that way. Because what happens with a lot of people, especially people who have been in trauma or who have been in difficult situations for an extended period of time, they have a hard time seeing outside of that vision, outside of that way of doing it. So when we have told ourselves that something's going to be a certain way, we lock that in as truth.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets developed within us that there's almost a fear of something different occurring. We've talked before about people can become comfortable in uncomfortable because at least the uncomfortable is predictable. It's safe. The anger is safe. The walls, the guarding is safe. So they stay within that. So the reason I do work a lot with visualizing and imagining is that we respond to that. And if we can allow ourselves, even in moments, I don't mean you have to go into a huge, deep meditative state, but even in moments, if we can allow our mind to open and see ourselves doing something different, see ourselves in a life that's different, see ourselves trying something different, see ourselves expanding us in some way, our unconscious mind actually begins to accept that as truth. Now, does that mean then there's the people who, my personal opinion, so no nasty comments, overbelieve in manifesting, meaning that they think, well, if I think about it real hard, it will happen. So, okay, I'm going to go middle ground in the gray area with you. Because if I can think about Keanu walking through that door for hours a day, but the reality is the odds of that are not enormous, unless you went to Keanu, just throwing that out there. But I can dream about something that would be fun, that allows me to dream about something funny, that allows me to see a place where I would be really happy or excited, that allows me to accept surprises and excitement. There's so much more to it because you then allow yourself to see yourself doing something different.
And see, Sandy Gibson chimed in here and she says, definitely a very confusing time, but I will tell you, I see and experience kindness from strangers all around.
Absolutely. People are getting tired of the anger.
Yeah, they really are.
Yes.
People are pretty much saying, enough is enough. It takes a lot of energy to be angry.
Yes. And that's part of what that's part of what I was thinking on the way here. Because I didn't pre-write the show. Like I said, I never do, but I was really in my head about it this morning when I went in, and the realist and the dreamer. And when you dream about something or when you daydream about something, it's a light, good feeling. When you get excited about something and you imagine something happening, like when you started getting into the radio thing, I mean, did you just sit and picture it and then you showed up and the radio station was here?
No,
right.
Not at all.
You had to kind of start going, hey, what would that be like? What would I do? What shows would I do? What would the station look like? What would it feel like to be on the air? You have to start implementing those thoughts and those feelings into yourself. And as you do that, what happens is your unconscious mind begins to see it.
Yeah. And it continually evolves. Like now, the set you're sitting in, for all our visual listeners and viewers on the video live streams, it has evolved so amazingly from over a year ago. It doesn't even look like the same place, but it's literally a small room. We don't have a huge space here. We've got enough to do what we need to do.
Right.
But it has changed so many times.
And I can vouch for that because I remember 2 years ago when we met.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think we met sitting at a table right here. Exactly. I had my area was behind you where the open sign is, for those of you
all of this other stuff wasn't here.
So as you move along, your vision changes, and what you can, you realize that as things change, you can go, oh, well, because it used to be this, maybe it could be this.
Yes.
And maybe it could be that. And you talked a little earlier about being a dreaming Pisces. I'm married to a Pisces, and I'm a Capricorn. And the Capricorns are you hard work, and you talk about the realist. This is the way it is, Jack, and this is what you should expect based on what you're doing. I've had to learn, and she has helped me immensely become open to the possibilities of dreaming and visualizing. And just like you said, it may not be what you're really thinking, but holy cow,
it allows it to open up. And that's where the self-sabotage can come in. Because I know for the over manifestors, and I don't say that disrespectfully, I say that I know that some people go in and they read some of the manifesting things and they listen to some of the manifesting seminars, and I get it. I get it, but it's kind of, sometimes there's some that give an expectation that if I picture it hard enough, it will just happen. My personal belief isn't that. My personal belief is that if you can envision it and you can see it, you get your unconscious mind to accept it, because your unconscious mind does not know the difference between what's really in front of you and when you're in a meditative or hypnotic state seeing it. It's still real. So when we don't allow that exposure to happen, our unconscious mind can't accept it. And for those of you that say, oh my God, she's always talking about the unconscious mind. Yep, it's 88% of your thinking. So it's an incredibly important part of your mind. But it won't allow that reality to come into play. And the self-sabotage happens because when what we think we want, or what we, well, frankly, bitch about not having, starts to come to us, we deflect it. Unconsciously, we will deflect it because it's not within our realm of what we've found accepting for us. It's not that. Why do you think so many people win the lottery? We've talked about this before, end up going broke within 5 years because they had never seen themselves as being that. Their unconscious mind can't accept that version or that level of living because they never saw themselves that way. Your mind will sabotage you. And then, okay. And for the manifestors, they say, but if you send it out to the universe, it will come back. And I believe in that because I believe in the energy of things. But here's the other catch. When we don't allow ourselves to really go through the process of discovering through our dreams, through our thinking, through our visions, through it, allowing those things, is it that the universe didn't send it back to you like, the book said? Or is it that the universe is sitting and waiting for you to be ready for it? Because if you don't allow yourself to dream for better, and you don't allow yourself to envision better, and you don't allow yourself to open up to better, why would they send you something you're going to reject?
No.
And that's self-sabotage. And self-sabotage obviously comes on many levels. So we can talk about self-sabotage for abandonment. We can get into individuals, and I'm not going to do that today. So for those of you saying, but wait a minute, that's not self-sabotage. There are different levels of self-sabotage and different types. Today, I'm just talking about people learning to open their mind and allow themselves to explore it. I have things in my head that I wish for, that I hope for. I talk often about the house in my head. It came in a meditation once, and my husband was still alive, and we lived in the house before the last one. So it had to be 12 years ago. And I can still describe that house. And if I knew how to draw, I could draw it down to the doorknobs.
Wow.
On the doors. I mean, it is very there. I sat in a meditation and I had just cleared and said, show me, and let my mind clear. And I watched the bricks go up on the wall. There's a decorative wall where the staircase is. And I watched the bricks go up, and it was amazing. And it's still in my head. Does that mean that house is going to manifest for me someday? Maybe. That'd be amazing because it's really cool. It's not a mansion or anything, but it's just a really cool house. And it's very homey. It's very lovely, but it did allow me to see something different. It does give me something to look forward to. Sometimes when I go for drives, I used to hop on my motorcycle when I had it, or sometimes just in a car or whatever. And I go for drives and I go on farm roads because, anybody who knows me well knows that I want a farmette. I'd like to have some animals and what have you. And I see some things and I'll see a house that resembles or makes me trigger the house in my head. And it kind of brings me to a happy place. It kind of brings me to an exciting place of, what would it be like to have that? What would it feel like? God, what is the energy of that? And it allows my whole mood to kind of change. It allows my whole inner being to kind of raise up and go, oh yeah, I remember when. I remember when that was right here. Ooh, now it's back here again. Now I feel that happy back here again, that possibility again. And the realists that I have in my life, I have multiple realists in my life, will go, yeah, but you don't have it and it never came. And how are you ever going to pay for that? It's like, well, let's just throw some heavy weight on the juju, because here's the truth. Here's my question. Here is my question to them every single time. And what did it harm that I was happy thinking about it?
Nothing. It harms nothing. But at the same time, what I have learned, because again, very much the realist of look at what you have to work with what you have, and the whole, nose to the grindstone thing. But when you do not have that vision, when you do not have that dream, when you are not excited about what you're doing, work just simply becomes work for the sake of work and nothing else.
Well, and it's not even just work for me. It's life. Life becomes just life, breathing. And that's why I tell people who are concerned about the current state of the world, there's a difference between living and being alive. And you need to find your middle ground there. You need to find your happiness there before you get caught up into all of it. I just to throw it out there, I always want to go to Tennessee. For whatever reason, Tennessee is my state in my heart that I want to be in, partially because their winters aren't as terrible, but I'm also a mountains girl. So I've been going, okay, you know what would it take to go there? Why not? My kids are on their own. They're great. It's just kind of me and the cat. And I don't know, maybe. So I started looking at real estate there. Can I financially afford to go do that? Not even close. But what did it hurt to look at farmettes that were for sale and to see what was there and picture what was there and imagine what was there? And I even was looking for, okay, what type of work is there? What's out there? Go ahead.
But see, that's how you begin the process of visualization, is by exploration.
Yes.
And, a lot of realists call that research. Even your biggest companies in the world have entire research and development departments. That's their dreaming departments. That's their visual departments. That's hey, someone think of something that we can do and sell and that can make us more money. That in a nutshell.
But I'm referring to the realists that only look at what's right here.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what I'm saying.
If you don't, their own face.
If you don't, then all you're ever going to do is sell, pony spread that no one ever is going to eat again. Because that was a real product once upon a time, but you're going to have these things that come and go because you're not. And again, I'm just using product as an example.
Come and go, and that's what I'm referring to. Is that people, they say, well, I thought about this, I pictured this, I envisioned this, and it didn't come. So that's all a bunch of hucky. Okay, that's fine. You can believe that. But if you weren't ready for it, even if the opportunity came in front of you, you won't see it. And I'm when I speak about the realist, I guess I need to go into the the deepest realist of the realist, meaning the person who can't unlock their state. That their state is, this is the way it is. This is the way it's always going to be. Why bother looking for more? So when I talk about things that, you know, oh my gosh, I really love to have this. Oh, I'd really love to have a farmette. Oh, I'd really love to give people a retreat to find empowerment again and to realize their value. You know, and I've talked about it before with like the rescue animals, you know, maybe animals that have what society deems something wrong or not a perfection or whatever, to show them the unconditional love. And I have all these dreams and all these things that go through my head and they spin around. And I want to public speak and I want, you know, and I want to do all these things. And some people are like, oh my gosh, why, you know, that's just probably never going to happen. And I used to get really offended and ticked off, and now I don't. Found kind of the response to be, well, I can guarantee you, if you never try to think of it and you never try and you never allow yourself the possibility, I will guarantee you that you are 100% correct.
No.
You will always be miserable. If you believe that you're destined to be miserable and you're destined to struggle and you're destined to have a horrible life and you're destined that every person's ever going to take from you and you're destined to believe all these things are true, then you know what I guarantee? They are. They absolutely are. And if I go...
Because every action you take is going to affirm that.
Yes, absolutely. And every opportunity that whomever, whatever you believe in, every opportunity that comes to you, you are going to sabotage it because you've never looked at the reality of the possibility that it's true. You've never looked at the reality of the possibility of better or different. So even opportunities that are handed to you are deflected. You're going to deflect them. You're going to sabotage them. You're going to go into a state of mind that says that's not for me.
Yeah.
And you send it away. So those are why the things don't happen. Those are why better doesn't occur. And that's why I've seen people who have literally had a silver platter of everything that they needed to completely revamp their whole world, smash the platter away. No, because I know if I accept that, something bad's going to happen. So I'm gonna deflect it away. And then they believe that God's against them or spirit, you know, whatever it is. No, they're just against me because of this or that. No, we're not. Mm-hmm. I don't mean we like I'm God. I mean, the universe is not against you. People have to allow themselves to believe that there's better in order to be able to accept that there's better. Our problem is that we get so locked in an ego and pride state that how we want it is how it better come. And that's not always what's best for us. How many things in your life have turned out exactly how you wanted it? But if you really look at a lot of the things in your life and be broad spectrumed and looking at a lot of the things in your life, you'll see many of them turned out better.
No.
And how do you know it won't be better? You know, it's like I do prayer before I do readings or groups or what have you. And I say it out loud, but I tell people change the wording to whatever it is you believe in. But I'll say Father God, Mother God, Archangels, Ascended Masters, Saints, Angels, Spirit Guides, and loved ones of all of those are here to love and protect me and all elementals who choose to be. And people are like, holy cow.
That's a lot of folks.
Yes. But you know what my response is?
Well,
I don't know who's got the best crap. Bring them.
Exactly.
Bring them. I don't know who's got the best story, who's got the best powers. I'm not up there to know, so I'm going to call them all in. And you know what? And people are like, oh, well, how do you know they're all coming? How do I know they're not?
Yeah. Or, you know, some might be busy at the moment, but someone else might not, or something or whatever. Right. But by opening up, you're just welcoming in.
Right.
Opening up and welcoming in. And that it took me a long time to be okay with a lot of that. Just
well,
and even still, there are aspects of my life where I don't want to open up and I don't want to welcome in because I don't like the results of what happened in the past.
Well, and there's where the self-sabotage comes in as being locked into that. But even if we set the spiritual part aside and we set life into it, just for people who don't want to attune to that type of a thing or aren't comfortable with it or don't believe in it or whatever it is, even in the day-to-day life. So as I'm going through my phone and I'm looking at farmettes for sale in Tennessee and picturing, oh gosh, that'd be nice. Oh, I get down to, oh my God, I don't like the bathroom in that one. I don't like the tub because I'm a bathtub girl. So
Oh, yeah.
I want a nice tub.
Mm.
So as I'm looking at these and I'm picturing the land and the trees and, oh my gosh, could I put horses there? What kind of animals could go there? And I'm going through all these things and, oh, why would you do that? What are the odds you're really going to end up going to Tennessee and being able to afford all the things you want to do? I don't know. I guarantee if I don't look, the odds are really bad. But I can also guarantee that me looking and me picturing it and me dreaming it harmed nothing.
Yeah.
It harmed nothing. But if that's part of my course, or if that's the way I'm supposed to go to, and if that's the branch I'm going to go out to, guess what? You want to talk about sending out the message, sending out the energy? I'm screaming, hey, I'm ready. I'm so ready, I can decorate the place. Like, let's bring it. And what happens is that then as pieces start to come or parts of the puzzle start to come together and things like that, we don't flush it away because our unconscious mind says, hey, wait a minute, I've seen that before. Hey, wait a minute, this feels like something I'm familiar with. This feels like something I've experienced before, so it's not scary. And we get into that, and Pete's typing away. So is there somebody that knows?
No, I'm actually sharing this as a post. Your show is a post at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I have to do, because we have a mile-long title today, I got to do a little extra typing. So
Well, sorry, I'll try and shorten them up next time. So my point is that we can't allow something into our lives that we haven't already seen as a possibility. So if we're sure that it's not going to happen, then it's not going to. And our mind, our unconscious mind, is so incredibly effective at speaking to our body and allowing things to occur that there's even some techniques that I use for pain therapies that are through color. It's color imagination. And I think Mary'd be okay with me saying this because it's not anything personal. But she had come into the office for a session one day and she had a horrible migraine that she had had for several days. And we talked about her migraine. And I have my ways of getting information out of people and getting them to talk. And then once we talked about her migraine and I got her to kind of get into her relaxed state, we talked about her migraine again, but we replaced it. We replaced it with colors and color envisioning. And she came up off that table with no more migraine. It went away because she, in that state, like I said, Mary, this isn't personal, so I hope this is okay that I'm saying this because it's just about a headache. But sometimes we can get ourselves locked in a state of pain, whether it be emotional pain, mental pain, physical pain, and we can't pull ourselves out of that state. But if we can see it differently and we can see it gone and we can associate it to something that feels good, our brain and our body will communicate. And we can turn that down. We can turn the dial down on that. We can make it better. We can make it feel better because we do have that control. Now, does that mean if you sever a limb, it can be pain-free? I'm not guaranteeing you that. I have worked with people for childbirth. I did do a childbirth one where they didn't want to use any medication. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to be responsible for that. But okay, if you want to try, let's try it. She said it was effective. Our minds can, if our minds can effectively change our physical. Okay. So in other words, if our minds, if just her mind and her visualizing and putting a positive turn onto that allowed a physical pain she had had for days to go away. And that's why I'm using this example, Mary. So thank you. Allowed her physical pain to go away. Then how is it that it's not possible for our minds to allow our bodies to connect and take the steps forward towards something new, towards something better, towards a dream, towards a ambition. And, don't get so locked into exactly how it's going to turn out. But that's a society thing we have right now is I want it fast, I want it now. That's why I always refer to it as a McDonald's society. Yeah. I want it fast, I want it now, and I don't care if it's good for me. It just better be instantaneous and not cost me much effort. Boom. And then people say, well, why didn't it last? Well, it didn't last because you didn't prepare yourself for the lasting effect. You didn't prepare yourself for the next step. You didn't get your mind and your psyche ready to continue to move forward. So if you're constantly staying in the state of it's not going to happen, why bother? The truth is you have fear of disappointment and you have a lack of belief in yourself that can occur. Now, am I criticizing that? Absolutely not. If I criticize that, I wouldn't do what I do. I understand how real that is. But my point is that there's such a possibility available out there. If we can step out of what people have told us we have to do or believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we need to say our sponsor again real quick?
Actually, we can and we will. So here we go. The Lisa's Changing Perceptions is brought to you by Bremer Team Keller Williams North Shore West. They bring families home. Reach out to Dawn Bremer, the leader of Bremer Team Keller Williams North Shore West, at bremerteam.com. BREMERTEAM.com. And when you're home, give Lisa a call at 262-573-7055, and she can help you unpack the stress of moving. There you go.
And just to reiterate for those who may have joined late, I am very, very grateful. The numbers have been going up for the show quickly and getting larger every week, and I have great gratitude for that. And those are actually active live listeners that the numbers are going up.
Yeah.
So for today, first off, I always have gift certificates available because I hear so many people say so-and-so could really use your service, or, oh my gosh, I wish so-and-so would come see you. So on every reason under the sun. So I'm going to show them again. I have these beautiful gift certificates. Here comes Vanna. I have these beautiful gift certificates that you can purchase if you would like to for somebody else. And I do have the ability to accept credit cards just so that anybody who's in need of that. And they come in these beautiful envelopes. And for today's show only, because I'm showing heartfelt gratitude for all of the people who come live and who share the show on Facebook, whether you share it through my Facebook page or whether you share it through 216 The Net, sharing the show and spreading the word. I am so grateful that for today's show only, so this is only valid for today, I am going to offer, if you purchase 3 gift certificates, you will get a 4th gift certificate free. So, and those can go, you can give 4 sessions to one person, or you can give 1 session to 4 people. That's up to you. And they will use them for whatever it is that they need the service for, because I do offer different types of things, and I'll discuss that personally with that person. So just because you buy a gift certificate does not mean you get to learn their juju. That's still their private sessions that are confidential. Or you can purchase 2 of them and you'll get a 3rd one at half price. So that is just for today's show. It has to be purchased today to do that. And again, that is gratitude for all the live active listeners that are listening. I am so grateful for all the shares that you guys give and the comments that you give and the moments that you spend. More and more people are starting to contact me and say, oh, I look forward to it, or, oh, your show really touched me, or, oh, you really hit home with this, or whatever it is. And I have a true gratitude beyond, well, choke up. True gratitude beyond words for that. So I thank you all for that. Pete, is there anybody who's talking and I'm missing it?
No.
Okay.
You're fine. Keep going. You're good.
So we're getting back to the realist and the dreamer. You can be both. You can be realistic about the steps that need to take place in life, and you can be realistic about the things that we need to do, which are just reality. We have to pay our bills. We have to get up each day. We have to move forward. We have to do the movements. But I encourage every person to allow themselves every day, whether it be for a minute or an hour or whatever it is you see fit, to allow yourself to dream, to allow yourself to daydream. Remember when we were kids and we just kind of spaced out staring at the shapes of the clouds? You're allowing your mind to open, which is going to make me make a comment that might tick a few people off. And I guess I'm to the point now of, okay, people, let your children be bored. Let your children be bored. Your children do not need to be entertained 24/7. Your children do not need to stare at a computer screen or a phone screen or a game box or whatever it is in order to be entertained 24/7. It is a programming of the mind where we're staring at these things nonstop and they never get a chance to dream. Boredom will allow creativity. And when you allow creativity, you get discovery. And when you allow discovery, you get invention. And thus it continues and it continues and it continues. Allow your children to be bored. Now I have to add, because our society has changed a lot, and what I'm seeing more and more out there is adults, allow yourselves to be bored. Allow yourself to be bored. Allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to just be mindless for a few moments. Allow yourself to be lonely. Why don't we do that? Because in those moments, all the stuff, is that outside?
Yeah.
A siren? Okay.
Yeah.
We allow, in those moments,
No,
what
new
happens?
studio sound effects.
Well, I was wondering, I'm like, what is Pete playing over there?
No, that's outside.
I know, I thought you were messing around on the screen.
No.
In those moments, the reason that we deflect away from those moments is what happens? All the internal stuff starts to stir and our mind starts to go. And we're so afraid of the negative thoughts that we have, or the anger and the regret, or the whatever it is for each one of us, we're afraid to let that come up. Allow it to come up. Allow it to come up. Just allow it to flow through. Allow it to be released. Because if you don't release and make space, you don't have anything new to bring in. There's no room. You have to allow those things up. You have to allow them to set free. And when we talked about emotions and feelings, when I said sometimes when I do those drives and I see those houses and I remember the house in my head and I picture the farmette and the things that I want, it truly gives me like a heartfelt happy. And I feel light and I feel possibility and I get kind of excitement. Does it last for weeks? Oh my gosh, I wish. But sometimes it's only for a moment. Sometimes it's for an hour. But regardless, I get that sense, that light feeling of happiness, that light feeling of possibility, and all those dreams come up. And when the other thoughts, our negative thoughts, our heavy thoughts, our anger, our whatever, I don't know, there's a million different words for it, come in, those are very heavy. So what happens is I'm light and I'm airy and I'm full of possibility and I'm smiling and it's all right there and I can feel it and I can be happy. And then what does that heavy energy do? We smack it down.
Yeah.
We bury it. So all those light, happy feelings, they can't come up because there's so much heavy on top of them. Allow the heavy to come up. Allow it to flow through. Allow it to process. It doesn't mean you have to live in it. Again, our mind is very controlling of our body and vice versa. We communicate, mind, heart, body, it communicates. So as one technique, and it's very effective, one technique is when those heavy thoughts start to come up, is to look at the thought, acknowledge what it is, acknowledge that it's a heavy thought, acknowledge that it's a blockage within you, and literally take a deep breath, hold for a second and say, I now release it, and blow out physically very, very hard. And you can poo-poo that if you want to, that's fine. Or you can try it, because as I say to everything else, when people look at me strange when I talk about techniques, is what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. What's the best thing that could happen? It might work. Take a deep breath. Hold it. In that breath you're holding, hold that thought that you just had realization to, and physically hard blow that out. I now release that. I no longer choose to carry it. Mm-hmm. You're telling yourself, you're telling your unconscious, we're letting that go. Will it come up again? Maybe. It may. Because you know what? A lot of times those heavy thoughts are attached to more than one thing. So as it comes up, we see it, we acknowledge what it is, we acknowledge how it's affecting us, and then we let it go. Sometimes it's attached to another thought or another blockage within us, so it'll come up again. So you know what you could do again? You could look at it, acknowledge what it's showing you, because it'll happen. It'll happen when it's triggered in our current environment. When our current situation or our current life environment is making us an offering. Okay, an offering.
Yeah.
We get offerings. We get blessings all the time, right? We get situations that are like, wow, I never expected that to happen. So we get those blessings, offers all the time. So these things will come up when there's an offering around you. There's an energy of an offering or a change or new or something's being offered around you, and those things will come up. So if it comes up again, then it's attached to something that's around you in a minute. But what are you trying to show me? Talk to yourself. Guess what, guys? If you talk and ask yourself these questions, no one knows anyway. It's okay.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What am I being blocked in my life for? What am I resenting? Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know your deep, dark demons if you don't tell them.
Yeah.
You can tell them if you choose to. I think it's healthy. But if you don't want to, that's fine. Nobody's going to know the skeletons in your closet. It's just you. Let them come up. Take a look at them. And then, you know what? What is this blocking from in my life? What could be happening in my life that isn't happening in my life right now? And when you can kind of acknowledge what that is and go, oh, gosh, I see, you know what? And that is blocking it. I don't want that to block that anymore. We do the same thing. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Hold the energy of that blockage in and blow out physically very hard. Literally push it out of your body and continue this process. It's very simple. And again, some realists will poo-poo that that's not possible. Well, again, I ventured a question. What's the worst thing that can happen?
You get a few good deep breaths and maybe you physically feel a little better.
Right.
There you go.
Or absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Or it could work. I will guarantee you absolutely nothing will happen if you don't at least try something different.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a guest, and I'm going to get a guest in sometime in the next few weeks to actually do a visualization color technique. To show people how it's truly effective. And I'm not going to say who it is or what I'm going to do because I truly want them to be thrown off guard. I don't like people to be prepared. And it's not that I want to startle people. It's for the authenticity of it. I don't want people to think that it's a pre-planned setup thing. If you knew me in real life, the majority of my life is far from a pre-planned setup. It's truly...
You don't say.
Yeah, it's truly a holy crap. I didn't expect that. All right, let's just flow with that. And where's that going?
Yeah.
And sometimes I get angry about it, and sometimes I'm excited about it, and everywhere in between. So no, it won't be a pre-planned setup. But the ability that the mind and the body have to connect and to process, and again, our unconscious mind is 88% of our mind. It's 88% of our thinking. 88% of the choices you flip and make are from thoughts and memories you don't even think about.
Yeah.
Fact. Absolute fact. So again, what's the worst thing that could happen? Nothing. Nothing happens. You know what? Because I don't believe currently there's a mandate against deep breath and release.
Yeah, I think that's quite okay to do.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a mandate against that yet. We don't know where the world's going, but yet we don't have a mandate against that. And it's not going to ever do any harm to try. When radio was discovered, when the light bulb was discovered, we could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Do you think that they had to maybe try a few different things, try a few different ways? First, they had to dream. First, they had to allow their mind to think of it and believe in the possibility of it. And then they had to kind of experiment with different things that might work, different things that might be effective, different things that made sense, or that it made sense even to somebody else, or that they had overheard, or they had put together, pieces they had put together. And then they had to start actually doing the process of trying it, trial and error. I've said a million times, failure is as valuable as a success. One less thing on the freaking checklist to try.
No.
Failure is as valuable as success. And then they had to go through that process. So they had to take their so-called failure, which if you choose to look at it as failure, you can look at it as failure. Or you can go, okay, you know what? That didn't work. So now I know not to try that one again. I'm going to go for something different. But the key is that it never would have happened and it never would have occurred if they quit.
Yeah, right.
If they said, realistically, something besides the candle for light isn't possible.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. So allowing their minds to expand and then going through the process and allowing that dream to take place and allowing that process to take place and allowing the things to come in front of them and being open to the things that are being placed in front of them that show them the way is how the process starts. It is no different in changing your life. It is no different in searching for happiness, finding your happiness. And here's the key to starting your path to happiness. And this is, it's astonishing to me in the office, the struggle that people have with this. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It was such a learning experience for me, is that the majority of clients that come in and I'll say, okay, what is it that you're looking for? What are you searching for? What made you come today? Something in your mind made you come, something in the universe, something you were triggered to come. And they'll say, I want peace and happiness. Okay. What is happiness? Well, it's feeling good. No, not necessarily. Define it. I don't understand. Define it down to the feeling. Define it down to the life. Define it down to what it is for you personally, because that's a very generic term. I want you to define it down for me because I don't understand what your term of happiness is. And they don't know because they've never allowed themselves to go into the thought process into so much detail. So we can say, I want a happier life. But if we don't stop and go, what is a happier life to me? What does happier mean to me? What is required of me for the happiness? Or I love that people say, I just want peace. Okay, what is peace for you? What is peace to you? For me, peace is truthfully, like when I go find peace, it means that I allowed my mind to settle. And I have the capability. I tend to like to sit in the woods. That's why I guess I'm a mountains girl. I like to go sit in the woods. Over the summer, when I was really struggling with things, I went and sat. There's a forest preserve that has this pond. And I would go sit at the edge of the pond and I would watch the turtles sunbathe. And I would just sit and I'd stare at them. And for me, that's what peace is. But it's not the turtles necessarily. They help to bring that. Peace was allowing my mind to clear and breathe and be right there in the moment of time that says, I'm okay. All of those things are happening out there. All the crazy is going on. Life isn't how I want it. The relationship isn't how I want it. My house isn't what I want. All these things that go through our daily mind. And I learned to bring myself to the moments. And again, they're just moments. Everybody thinks that they're going to live in this state 24/7. It's a lie. They're moments. But those moments bring you to it, to where the moments become longer and greater and bigger and realer, and to the next moment. Okay. The discomfort, if I didn't have discomfort, I wouldn't have searched for the spot. I wouldn't have gone to the woods. I wouldn't have realized that sitting and watching those turtles sunbathe brought me to a state of being that I hadn't been able to find, which brought me comfort and peace. Get a grip. That to me is being the realist, realizing that life is going to have challenges and life is going to be difficult. It's finding the balance within it. For me, that's peace.
Yeah. And Kent says,
hi, Kent.
What if peace and happiness is what we all have right now? Oops, sorry, wrong show. Because he started with what if. But, I mean, actually, I like what you've described as peace, because to me, it's something very similar. It's the rest of mind.
Right.
It's my mind at rest, which rarely happens. That's extremely rare.
And for me. And I've discovered here's an even one step further. It's the mind at rest and in tune to the heart. So, and what I mean by that is your mind can settle enough to become attuned to your heart or your spirit. Depends on kind of how you want to view that.
Sure.
To the point that you find the peace because you find acceptance of being. And that's a big concept for some people. But to get to the state of place where you can accept where you are right now in this moment, in the literal moment that you're there, find the peace and the mind clearing to do that, to where the balance comes, to where it's literally you right there in that moment, in complete acceptance of the peace in the heart, complete acceptance of who you are, complete acceptance. And that's why I guess part of the thing was for the turtles to me, is that everything was going on in the world. And I was sitting there one day and I was in tears and just, life's never going to be good again. And, I'm just in my ugly place and it's all going to be bad. And I'm never going to make this work. And, just in this terrible place. And I was sitting there, and the more I sat and I just stared, and I believe in grounding. So I believe in the energy of the earth that helps to take some of those energies away from us. And I sat and stared, and all of a sudden I noticed the turtles, and there were hundreds of them. This tree had fallen, and there were just hundreds of these turtles all over this tree. And I was sitting there just watching them sunbathe, and it just started to sink into me. Look at how peaceful they are. Their appreciation of the sun right now, feeling the warmth while they're laying, the appreciation that the tree fell, and that they had a place to sun in the middle of the water where they were still safe, because the tree was out there, so people weren't going to come. Mm-hmm. But they were safe, and they were safe to appreciate the sun. They were safe to appreciate the tree that had fallen, the water that's around them, the nature that's around them. And you know what? They have no idea what's going on in the world. None.
Well, not beyond their own turtle world.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that moment, they're able to just lay there and truly appreciate. Thank you that this tree fell. Thank you that I have this place to bathe. Thank you for the warmth of the sun on my shelf. Thank you for everything in this moment. For right now, in this moment, I'm right here. And it all just kind of went boom and sunk into my head. And I went, and so am I. And so am I. And in this moment, I'm right here. And in this moment, it's beautiful. And in this moment, I'm watching the turtles. And in this moment, I feel the sun. And it just came to this place where I was able to pull myself into a state of, I'm literally just here right now. Nothing else is going on right now. I'm allowed to be in this moment right now. And I began to welcome that moment. Welcome the moment that said, I'm at peace. And in that moment of peace, I became in balance and acceptance of myself that, you know what? Everything is going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay. I forgot how to dream. I forgot how to think how the turtle thinks. Of thank you for the log that fell that allowed the sun to come, and seeing things from that perspective. That to me was peace, is finding the balance of heart as well, which reminds you that there's possibility.
Yeah.
And hope. Oh, we're out of time.
No. You still got 3 minutes. That's an eternity on live radio.
Well, then let's do our sponsor one more time, because I'm grateful for them as well. Today's a total gratitude day.
Well, actually, then let's just make them nice and big right here alongside you. That is bremerteam.com, BREMERTEAM.com, 847-456-6334. The Bremer Team, Keller Williams, North Shore West. They bring families home, and we are incredibly, sincerely thankful and appreciative for their support of Lisa's Changing Perceptions, 9 a.m. Sundays, 9 a.m. Central Sundays, right here on 216 The Net, real life internet radio, 216thenet.com, where you can go click listen live and hang out with us all day long. And as much as we'd like to hang out with you all day long, Lisa, I do suppose that actually we'd better let you tell and remind everybody about your specials that for everybody watching right now. Go ahead.
For those who tuned in late and missed it, just gratitude for the live listeners and the people who tune in on Sundays in general. I'm doing it for Sunday. That's how I should put it. Is number one is I always have gift certificates. For those of you who can see it on the screen, they're quite attractive. For those of you who are listening, they are a decent size. I don't know, Pete, what do you think this is? Maybe 3x8, 3x6?
It looks like a third of an 8.5 by 11 page. So okay. Yeah.
And they're beautifully printed. It's an attractive gift that you can offer. They come in a beautiful envelope that comes with it. For those of you who keep telling me, oh my gosh, so-and-so could really use your service, the holidays are coming. If you would like to give a gift certificate to somebody to have a session, You can feel free to contact me, 262-573-7055, and I will mail them to you, or you can pick them up personally in the office. That's up to you. We can set up a time for that. For those who are listening, gift certificates are always available, but for today only, for my listeners, for today only, and it must be purchased today. If you purchase 3 gift certificates, you will get a 4th gift certificate free. So basically what that means is 3 sessions, you get a 4th session free. You can divide that into 4 gift certificates, or you can give a gift certificate for 4 sessions to a person. If you purchase 2, you will get a 3rd one at half price. Again, same thing. You can give it to 3 different people, or you can give one person 3 sessions. That's completely up to you. That is just for today only, because I am in such gratitude of what the numbers are doing for the show on Sundays and the active live listeners that come in. It boosts my ego and gives me some encouragement and all truth. So I'm thanking you all for doing that. And you can contact me to do that at 262-573-7055. And I will, like I said, either get them in the mail to you right away, or you can meet me in person to pick them up in the office, whichever works best for you. And for those of you who do not live directly in the McHenry County area, I am able to do webcam sessions. So it doesn't matter where they live, what country they live in, even for that matter. They can be all over. So I do have webcam available for sessions. So if that was a concern, you can forego it. And you're basically getting them time with me. I'm not going to determine what service they need until I speak to the person individually, but you're getting them time with me if you feel that I'm a good fit for them. So I thank you all for coming today. I thank you all for being here live. That is what I have offered out today for you. Continue to share the show all over the place. I am so incredibly grateful, not only to Pete and Ken for letting me come in and do this, and then for doing our new show on Thursday nights at 5:30, What If, as well. That is so much fun. I just thank everybody for being here, and I'm grateful for all the help you've all given me.
All right, everybody. Remember, same time next week, 9 a.m. Central, for Lisa's Changing Perceptions on a Sunday morning. We'll see you then.